Hey,
welcome.
Hello.
Take a sip.
Sip for my fallen brothers and sisters eaten by titans. We haven't forgotten you from season 1, by the way.
We won't.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Basement. This is the complete Attack on Titan podcast. I'm one of your hosts. They call me Eric. They call this lady
Rachel.
And they call... What do they call you? Anything?
I don't think people call me. They just stop calling after the first or second.
Text you. You know, we're going to
interaction.
stop using that. We're going to say text. What do people text you?
People text me, where am I money at? But my name is Peter, and I'm here, and we are so glad you're joining us live on twitch.tv/beyondthebasement.
Yeah,
if you want to get on
seriously.
Sunday nights at 5 Pacific time,
Yes.
or
West Coast time?
youtube.com,
Pacific Standard Time. We've
Beyond
been
the
over
Basement
this.
podcast. We here, welcome and cheers. Getting into this dope episode.
Dude, we're on episode 12, which 12 of 16, we're pretty sure. Sounds like it's fairly confirmed at this point. But 12 of 16, we're almost at the end here.
It feels
I
like
don't think I
things
can
are
handle it.
feels like
guys.
things are ramping up quite a bit, and we love it because we've been like,
There's going to be such a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, how much of a cliffhanger are we expecting?
I'm going to be emotionally disturbed.
That's how much. Okay, we'll get into all of that.
If I
This is
had
episode
robes, I will tear them. Okay.
episode 12. This one is called
guides.
Guides. But if I understand it right, somebody actually said this in our comments that this
In the
chapter actually corresponds with this episode corresponds with a chapter called Deceiver, which is the name of the last episode, and the last episode corresponds with the chapter in the manga called Guides. So
It's flip flop.
I think they're backwards. Nonetheless, this is episode 12, also known as episode 71
And it was what chapter in the what?
in the manga. Now, you could say I've been converted. We had a fairly
Thank you.
convincing email, and by fairly convincing, I'm just it was convincing, okay?
And I thank you.
In my defense, and I've explained myself before, I say manga because when we're talking about in video games, the resource you use, mana.
Yeah.
We don't call it mana, and
Well,
so in my
some
mind,
people do call it
some
mana.
people do
I
call
call
it
it
mana,
mana.
and those people are
Here's the deal.
unusual.
with terms that originate from not in English, when English speaking people read them, we read them with the grammar
Well, specifically
rules.
like American English speaking.
Right. Well,
we
we read them with grammatical rules. For
Do you
instance,
like some jalapeno sauce?
when two vowels go walking, the first one does all the talking. So the first vowel says its name, right? So if it's
Never heard
MANGA, I was homeschooled. In the MANGA, the first A we would think would say
its name.
A. So it would say
Man.
manga, right?
Yeah.
But it's like father is what she was saying. It's manga. And so we need your guys' help. We appreciate all the help
Yeah.
and the emails.
So please
This is-
correct
this is your
us when we are
invitation.
ignorant
Where
and
would we
oblivious.
be, right? And here we are getting our names correct. If you go back and watch the first episodes, it's rough, all right? All right, but thanks for sticking it out. Here we are, getting
I think
better
they're good,
every day.
personally.
Every day. The rise of the Jaegerists is
Oh
here.
yeah, dude.
Okay.
This is it. This is the Jaegerist episode. Let's do. Oh, sorry. We're gonna do a quick recap, but before I do that, I want to let everybody know. Yeah, the store for merch. If you do want to get a mug, if you want to get one of our t-shirts or our mugs, it's teespring.com/beyondthebasement podcast. I'm pretty sure is what it is. We've got links in the description. There'll be links in the YouTube and stuff below as well. But there's also a link to an Amazon store that sells kind of more just general like Attack on Titan stuff. So if you're interested in that, click through that link. We get a little kickback from that. Would be much appreciated. If you're a regular listener, if you've joined in on season 4, which I know a lot of people have, go find us on iTunes. Go leave us a 4. Not a 4. Wow. Give us a 5-star review. Whew.
I don't know who killed Eric and replaced him with a clone.
Something's wrong with me. Go do that. That just helps the show. And honestly, it's bad. Yeah, it's very much appreciated on our end. Okay, with that out of the way, let's do a recap, and then we'll dive into this because there's a lot of dialogue in this one. Okay, so this one starts out, and this is mostly for people who are watching after the fact, if you're listening. So this is episode 71. This is the one where begins with Armin. He's reaching out to Annie, and she's in her crystal, and he gets stopped by Hitch. And she eventually breaks the news to him that Eren's been detained.
She puts a hitch in his plan.
Ooh.
We're getting spicy already tonight, you guys.
The pun game is actually really strong already. So then we find, we go outside of headquarters. We're in headquarters, which can we safely assume, and just dawned on me, can we safely assume that's where Annie is? She's at HQ for scouts.
Yeah.
She must be in the basement down there.
Yeah. Well, is that where Eren was being held when they're going to take him up for the courthouse, or is that a different location?
I don't know.
Squad confirm.
Yeah, someone figure that out for me. At any rate, okay, so Eren's been detained. She shows them the newspaper headlines that distrust in the military is soaring, and then there's this crowd gather outside headquarters, and they're all chanting, and basically they're mad. They're mad because they feel like they've been deceived by the government, which is true. So then we get this meeting between Yelena and Pixis. We got a little preview of it last episode. This episode we get the more like full meat of it, and Yelena basically explains to Pyxis that she's been, yeah, I did meet with Eren in secret, but I'm sorry, it was a bad decision, but it's all for the sake of Eldia.
It's all for the sake of the people.
He's like,
what? That state? Okay, sorry, I'm gonna wait till later.
We'll get there.
I'll freak out later about that.
He tells her, "Nah, you're gonna have to tell me more than that, because that's you told a good lie. There's a little bit of truth in there, but I need to know the rest." We get this meeting between Onyonkapon and Hange, and he kind of explains, he didn't know Yelena had gone out, but we also discovered this is Onyonkapon is who Hange was looking to investigate further. Remember, she sent Floch and them to jail. She's like, there's more investigating to do. This is who the investigation pertains to. All right. Premier Zachary has a meeting with Mikasa and Armin, says, I'm not going to let you guys meet with Eren, and this conversation's over. He notes that there's a special chair in the room. They leave. They're like, what are we going to do? And as they're considering eavesdropping, an explosion goes off. Premier Zachary is killed in the explosion, and the people outside begin to chant, and it's really awkward, and I don't know if I can salute anymore. I feel like it's been tainted after that. So they kind of confirm that this is what's happened. The brass have a meeting like, yep, it was a bomb. All the volunteers were kept, and now the scouts are under suspicion again because Armin brings up, hey, some of the scout recruits were there.
Most.
And Anyway, so after all this, we get a shirtless Eren doing the thing from the trailer, meeting up with the Jaegerists, the loyalists. I've been calling them that for like 2-3 episodes because people called us Jaegerists in one of our YouTube videos.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I was like,
it was pretty harmless spoiler, but still.
Even still. So he meets up with Floch and the gang. There's a bunch of them, and we also discover that there's a bunch of insiders or loyalists, Jaegerists, that are inside of the military as well. Like I said, there's this whole confrontation with the brass and with the scouts and Hange and the whole deal. We'll get into all of that. And they end up with Pyxis deciding, hey, we're actually gonna go along with the Zeke and Eren plan. We're gonna find a way to negotiate with them. We don't have many other options. The episode then takes us to Jean, Connie, make sure I'm getting this right. Jean and Connie, Mikasa, Armin, and Hange's around there somewhere. And the infighting has already begun, and they're like, no, we can't do this. Pyxis even said it, like, this is what's going to tear us apart. We have to actually work together. And she mentions Yelena had Marlians working in really unusual places, like restaurants.
And they're all spread out.
Yeah, we see the Browse family, and then, of course, it ends with Hange and the gang on horses riding through town. And look who's already there, dude.
Pieck is there.
Dude.
How?
Like a spider in the night.
Is she the only one, though? Probably not.
I don't think so.
I think they're all there.
I don't think so.
The surprise attack is about to happen.
Marley's got to be close.
I'm
telling you.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
It didn't give us any specifics in it, and we don't actually know how long in time has passed between when what's his name, General Magath said, hey, we have to go in at the last scene of the last episode, and this is happening. So it could be several weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But
there's also images of maps of the world or whatever, and it seems like the island of Paradis is a certain shape, and that certain shape seems like it's very near a big landmass, like as far away as Madagascar is from Africa, for
That's
example.
exactly what's in my head, yes. Because I've seen that. I know you're talking
or
about
New
the maps.
Zealand from Australia. It's pretty close. I don't think it takes very long to get to either of those places from the mainland. It's not like Hawaii in America where you have to travel
okay,
to the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
There's a month time skip from last episode to today's episode.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So
that gives them time to like come up with a good plan and get there.
Okay, so that was in the manga, but Mappa cut it off.
Okay, so let's go to this first scene here because this is obviously an important one. We've now seen this twice where Armin is in the basement. What we now assume is the basement of Scout or just maybe general like military headquarters.
He's getting his free therapy.
His free what?
He's going to his therapist.
His therapist is Annie, right?
Can really listen to him, and
apparently she's also Hitch's therapist too, because she talks to her also.
Does Armin actually have a crush on Annie? Did we confirm that from season 1?
I think so.
Yeah.
And
I thought so. I just like I feel like
I think she has a crush on him also a little bit. I think Annie like reciprocated that crush.
But
which
the
is
real
why
reason Berto exploded.
she
and
had.
she was Sheena.
I think that's why she was always kind of hesitant to do anything against him.
She's the one who had the most connection with Armin.
Yeah.
Yes, she definitely trusted him the most. But the thing is, like, he legit betrayed her, and I feel like in all this conversations, like, if she's hearing that, like, we have to picture Annie's background right now, which is the reason she was caught at all and in this state is basically Armin's fault. He came up with the plan, and he was the one who deceived her.
So let's go back to
the part where she murdered a bunch of people.
No, let's go back to season 1, right?
Okay, it's her fault
Eren
that she did bad
They are
things.
equally yoked. Let me just put it like
Eren
that,
says,
okay?
Eren says, this is my fault that my comrades are dead. But it's actually more your fault. Like, it's your fault more. And it's a weird, like, English saying. But the point of it all is, like, oh, when those guys broke into her house, if I would have been quicker, somebody wouldn't have died. You can't put that on you. You have to put it on the people who are the ones who are responsible for the wicked action. If those guys hadn't broken into my house, everyone would be alive. Yes, my actions also are important. So, yes,
Okay.
Armin is ultimately responsible for her being caught. But you know who's most responsible? Her, for doing something that deserves being caught.
Okay, morally speaking, if we're gonna go that far back, she was also a brainwashed child soldier, so there's at least some
Okay.
blame to be spread. But what I'm saying in her mind, the reason she's in the crystal and had to fight Eren in the whole 9 yards is Armin. I'm saying for her to trust Armin or to be listening to him or considering what he's saying, I understand there's a previous relationship, but that is a thing that she would have to get past is the fact that he was kind of he was specifically the one
she
who
has
lied
crystallized
But
herself.
can she hold it against him when all he was doing was trying to stop wickedness from happening in this country?
to her. Yeah, okay. You'd think at this point that Armin's had enough hours down there. I'm just presuming. Okay, this is all assumption, but he's had
What if
enough
she's
time
like
down
in a
there.
coma and she can't really properly process?
Maybe he's explained everything. And here's the thing: you mentioned it. Hitch has been down there as well. Maybe she's up to date essentially because they just are like.
Unless she's just completely in a coma and can't hear a dang thing they're saying.
They're
which
just
would
like
be quite tragic.
Evil monologuing to her.
It turns out the crystal's a complete sound
Yeah,
barrier, and she's just like, "Hey guys,
she
what's up?"
actually
Like,
is a rock.
So, all right. So,
True, it is. It's all Reiner's fault
yeah.
Yeah.
After
All
for
right.
not going back home in the first place
Partially
when they
true, yeah.
wanted to.
So he reaches out to touch it, and Hitch stops him. Is like, "You're not allowed to do that." So apparently, there's a rule that
You
you can't
can't.
touch the crystal. And Armin is like, he says, "Listen, I know the Titan memories can come through touching. Like I wanted to see if I could learn something important." Come on,
He
that's
hasn't
good.
touched her the whole
Him
time.
Touch the rock, you flipping people.
That's the first thing I would have done.
Okay,
But she has to be the creep that she has always been and like make him feel so self-conscious and like I wasn't gonna do anything. Well, you are a guy after all. And then he like turns all red. He's like, I'm not a pervert. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Like she's horrible.
The question, I know, sorry. Jesus. The question. You just said it. Like, all right, has he not already touched the crystal before? He's clearly been down there on his own.
I don't think he's touched the crystal since he's become a shifter. Because I know they were all touching it when they were moving it.
They had to.
Yeah.
But I don't think Eren touched it.
I would
I
have
don't
had
think a
Historia
Titan
touch that
shifter
thing.
has
I would
touched
have
it.
had Eren touch that thing. I would have had Armin touch that thing.
I don't know, man. You don't know what's going to happen. What if they start to fuse with it like Eren's Titan was, you know?
There's only one way to find out.
True. Chop his arm off. He'll grow it back.
That's
no
right,
big
yeah.
deal.
Yeah, let Hitch have
No,
fun.
she's a creep, okay?
Hitch is hilarious. So he's totally embarrassed. He was like having this moment, you could tell, and like monologuing deeply. And then Hitch is like, "Hey, you creep." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Don't kick me out."
I think he is so embarrassed because he actually does have feelings for her a little bit. And
Oh,
he was like,
probably.
please don't think I'm a creep. I have good intentions. I don't have creepy ones. Please.
Yeah.
Okay, but something else I want to highlight is
He's
this,
also a nerd, so there's that.
is Armin says, "Don't ban me," meaning like Hitch is now in a position, I mean, authority-wise, that
authority.
she could do that. Like she's in charge of this or something.
would
Like
She's
think
an
so.
MP,
she's an MP, I suppose.
and for some reason they still trust them and they have power. So
I don't know. Well, Armin's the most trustworthy. Like as far as the show has gone so far, like number of people I can trust. Let's see, the Browse family, Armin. I wouldn't even put Mikasa.
I know.
I'd
she's,
say- I'd say
she's,
Pixis.
she's
Pix, I don't put Pixis.
I'd put
I don't know what
Pyxis
he's
and
up to.
Hange in there. I think those are the
I
ones.
wouldn't put Hange in there. No way, dude. Not at this point. I don't know who to trust after this episode. No, dude. Everybody's a bad guy in my book right
Wow,
now.
wow. So you're just like Bros family 100%.
Yeah, they're pretty much the only ones.
All right.
And Falco.
I
Star
mean, I
family,
would still trust Connie.
Go live
I
on a
think.
farm.
Yeah, Connie. Okay, all right.
Connie
he can make the
has
list.
a good, yeah. Maybe Jean, but I don't know about that.
I'm saying Hange's just had a self-critical moment last episode where she was like, had a breakdown of the fact that she's now the new like secret police. She's now doing exactly what she's become what she hated.
Right,
Just,
but she's still feeling bad about it, which is
that's true.
That's a good point.
Eren. Okay, listen, calm down,
We found
bro.
the Jaegerists in the chat.
Oh no!
All right, so
Gabby Gang and the Jaegerists. Okay,
dang, dude,
Neanderthal with the
you
heat.
can't be on both teams though, right? She hates Eren, at least for now.
Yeah, she'll come around.
All right, so the scene changes. They go to the opening credits. We get to the news that is breaking. So Armin apparently doesn't know Eren's been detained, which is interesting.
Yeah,
He's removed enough from Eren since the attack. Again, like a month. He hasn't even talked to the guy in a while. Like he didn't even know he was detained, but apparently.
No. I think he knew he was detained. I don't think he knew that was being kept from the public as a secret, and that the secret leaked out and has caused riots and angry people.
That makes way more sense.
I think that's what he didn't know
You're
about.
saying when a bunch of elites make decisions on behalf of the people for the good of the people, and they keep
and
all
they
the
don't
truth
talk to
from
anybody
the people,
about it.
People
with
don't
no
like that.
accountability. Yeah,
Weird.
It's weird.
Interesting.
This entire episode, we were all like, okay, I see both sides of this, actually. Like, there's clearly two factions forming inside of Paradise. Both of them have some reasonable things to say, though, and both of them are maybe wrong in some things, too. Okay, so they specifically say, Eren's been detained, and the headline reads, military clings to power, public distrust in the military soars to an all-time high, and then Hitch explains, well, it's because they're not answering any questions, which is exactly right. And they say, well, they can't disclose about Zeke and the rumbling. This is where I'm confused, so maybe y'all can help me out with this. They can't disclose about Zeke and the rumbling, and yet the people outside are chanting about Zeke and Eren being the only ones who can save Eldia, and they're going to be the ones to like take us into the future and so on and so forth. So they know about Zeke. Maybe they don't know about the rumbling, but here's my other question is, why can't they know about Zeke and the rumbling? Is it just because they're trying to keep this like close-guarded secret because they might actually consider using the rumbling as a weapon against Smart? Like, what's the point in keeping it secret? That's what I can't tell.
My question is, why do they think it should be kept a secret? Don't all the Marleyan volunteers already know about it? Because it's common knowledge outside of the outside of Paradis. So, like, why would they try to hide the rumbling? Do the people actually know that it could happen?
I don't know about the existence of the rumbling so much as that Zeke has a plan to use it.
Maybe that's what they're trying to keep it in, that they think they actually have all the parts in play.
But even Flagel Reeves last episode was talking about, you're not going to use the rumbling on the...
Yeah, so it clearly is known.
It's clear, the rumors are clearly going around. And this is what happens when you try to suppress the truth, okay?
Right.
The truth is always going to get out, and the truth is going to make you free. So instead of letting somebody else share the truth in a bad light, what if you just, I don't know, helped the people that you were governing and you gave them all the information, and then you had people like from both sides of, issues come and like argue, for and against.
Wait. This sounds a lot like what's democracy?
I was going communism. Democracy.
We were laughing because we were both saying like the people like in the Attack on Titan universe, they've like discovered like Titans and like all this stuff about warfare and technology, but they haven't quite discovered the democracy part yet because they don't vote on anything. They still have queens and stuff. Listen.
I like Queen Historia though. She's pretty
they've repeated.
She's a good one.
They've repeated the mistakes of the Rice King.
Oh, for sure. Which I think is built in. I think that's kind of on purpose.
Yeah, to show us like you can fall into these cycles. It's the same thing with the Marleyans. Like the Marleyans were oppressed for all these years under the Eldians, right?
Marleyans were oppressed. Not sure about that.
Jaegerists. No, the Marleyans were oppressed for all these years, right? For centuries, and these Eldians oppressed them, right? And they're like, oh no. And then once the Marleyans like rose up under whatever his name was, Helos, right? And they fought back and they got the Titan powers. And then what are they going to do with their Titan powers? The exact same thing.
Oppress everybody. The entire
stinking
planet.
Yes. So there's definitely some themes that Isayama's bringing out. One is war is hell. It's very painful and it hurts a lot of people. We shouldn't just allow unchecked oppression to be used on everybody. And if somebody has great power, with great power comes great responsibility.
Okay, so Mighty Germ rather just hit it in the chat. He said they tried to fake Zeke's death, and they're not sure if all the volunteers are loyal, so they don't want Marley to know that the Zeke is still alive necessarily. So they are playing. Now I understand it. They're playing the Zeke thing close to the vest because they don't necessarily want. And Marley has their assumptions, but they don't know. So it's best kept a secret. And like they haven't even. It's just crazy to me. They haven't even had like a long conversation with Zeke yet. Like we haven't seen any of that. They're like, we need to find out Zeke's intentions. I'm like, you've said
maybe
that 14
you should
times.
just ask Zeke what his intentions are. Nope, we're gonna go put him out in the middle of the woods with 30 soldiers who are most of them drunk.
And they're like,
because that's safe.
Eren hasn't said a word to anybody. It's weird. And then the two people he always talks to, like, no, you can't see him.
We can't. It's too risky. Why? Why is it? Are you worried?
Because you're dumb. That's why.
Are you worried that he's gonna turn them to his side? Is that why it's risky? What the flipping poop is going on?
Yeah, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I saw
Someone
that.
else said that
exactly
maybe
right.
the people want a full-blown rumbling, not a test run.
Yeah.
Right. It could be.
But that's when I would say it. Then it takes somebody
That's a bad idea.
like Erwin, who's like an orator, to go and to say, hey, this is why this is not a good idea. Here's all the thoughts. Appeal to their morality, their humanity, and say, do we want to become just the same as our enemies, or do we want to actually have peace?
Mhm.
And to have lasting peace, we cannot become the thing that we wish to destroy.
Yeah.
Can we get Miga hats? Red Miga.
Make LD great again.
And then Paul, you're the man.
Okay.
That cracked me up. So
Top level trolling.
top level. All right, we gotta get to this meeting. Yelena and Pixis.
Yes.
So they're out there meeting on the porch.
Oh wait, before you get to that,
Go ahead.
sorry. Mikasa comes.
Oh,
And,
right. You're right. I skipped that.
Armin's there, and he's like, "Oh, thank goodness you're here. We need to go talk to Zachary so we can go talk to Eren, because only when we talk to Eren, they've been talking about this for a couple episodes, can we actually get some information." And all of us are like, "Yes, get the trio together, talk, appeal to Eren. Hey, remember when we grew up? Remember what we dreamed about?
Remember
Getting
the
outside
Remember
the
that
walls."
you're a human person with emotions. Where are all of his emotions?
Yes, exactly.
Is he constipated emotionally? What is going on?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, he needs some spiritual X-lax. But so
Seriously.
they're like, let's go make an appeal to his humanity and see if we can get some answers. Okay. And as they're going in, they say, oh, that's weird. There's some scouts, some recruits that are leaving the area. And we went back. We took a screenshot of them. We don't recognize any of
I don't
them.
recognize them.
So there's some scouts. They're leaving the area, and Armin's like, that's weird. I'm not sure that I didn't know.
Why
scout
are recruits at the HQ? Like, headquarters is not where recruits belong usually.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder how they got in the first place. All we know is that this
It's very
Jaegerist thing,
suspicious.
they're much more coordinated and very.
Yeah.
As far as conspiracy goes, this is a very successful conspiracy so far.
That Floch can't, man. He just, anyway.
Even Floch, we have to have a long sit down. I hope before the break in the season, I hope we have a long sit down with Floch and with Eren both, because like there's a lot of Floch
I
and
feel
Eren
like
are very
Floch is
different.
psychologically broken from when
They're
Zeke
so
destroyed the
different.
scouts.
That guy loves the devils. He's like, I gotta find me a devil. First
Well,
it was
I'm saying-
Erwin, now it's Eren,
But I'm saying
Zeke.
from the end of season 3 to now, like maybe it's just because they've matured and so they aren't as like rash, but like their personalities are even different. But the two of them both.
So,
Just makes you wonder kind of what spell they're under.
Mr.
exactly.
T said it right. He said Yelena, and I think I would say Floch too. They're like acolytes. They're like
Yes.
religious zealots for the cause of Jaeger, and
for sure.
it is creepy. Their
Especially
level of devotion.
Yelena. She is
Yeah,
crazy.
she's mega weird.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
crazy.
Speaking of, so she has this meeting with Pyxis,
Yes.
and she confesses, "All right, I did meet with Eren, and I'm sorry I kept it quiet." Right, and we get this whole thing. This is honestly like really what the dialogue is. The whole
This
thing is
conversation confuses me. Please
Well,
continue. But
what I'm saying is realistically, it's actually really well played out, because it's exactly, again, going into my spy. You guys know that I said this a bunch of times. So I'm really into like spy, like espionage stuff, and the thing is, like, being a spy requires like this giant set of skills. But most spies aren't most real life spies weren't the kind that run around with guns and doing James Bond stuff. Most of them are people who just essentially know how to talk and how to like lie and do it with just absolute impunity. Like they can really what's the word? Guile. They have an incredible level of guile, generally speaking. And one of the things they're trained to do is exactly what Yelena is actually doing right here. So for all of Yelena's for the way she presents herself as like a radical and as an acolyte, like you're saying, which seems true. I don't think that that's not true. She seems to at least have some. I don't know if she's trained. I don't know if the ACM was trying to hit the like spy angle here, but what she's doing is a classic spy technique, which is, and Pyxis identifies it at the end. So what she does, she says, she confesses. She's like, okay, you got it out of me, right? So she doesn't give up the information right away. She makes them work for it a little bit, but when she's under pressure, she finally, quote, gives up information. but she doesn't give up everything, and she tells her own version of the story. And this is exactly right. This is exactly how he says at the end, like, oh, you know how to tell a good lie? You mix some of the truth in. That's not all there is to it. It's how you present it. One of the big things in what they call counterintelligence is when you want to intentionally feed misinformation to somebody, you don't just volunteer it. You make them think that like
they're figuring it out.
Yeah, people like
it's like breadcrumbs.
If I'm your enemy and you capture me and you're questioning me and I just freely tell you stuff, you're gonna be like, okay, no. It's only after I've been like, beat me up a little bit, or you like put some pressure on me, like we've got your family. There's gonna be some kind of pressure applied, and then you go, okay, finally I'll tell you. That information to you as the person who wants it seems a lot more believable when you kind of have to apply some of that pressure. That's the tactic.
It's like when you're driving by on the side of the road and you see a TV and you're like, oh, a TV. And it's like, it's free. And you're like, something's wrong with it. You don't trust it.
Correct.
And they've done this experiment where they put a perfectly good brand new TV out there. They put a sign that says free and like nobody takes it. Mm-hmm. But then they go back and they say like $200 and they put it out there. And someone's like, okay. And then a bunch of people stopped, like ask them questions and check it out or whatever. And it's because it's like, if it comes too easy, you don't trust it. You're expecting an amount of resistance and for it to be believable, actual intel. What's
actionable?
Actionable intel. Yes.
Right.
Words are hard.
So she starts with that, and then she goes, "Okay, no, I admit, I did go and meet with Eren, but and he's like, okay, so you went and met with him, but you didn't say you didn't give him any concrete. You risked a secret meeting." But you didn't give him any concrete instructions. She's like, yeah, well, I didn't tell him specifically. I was essentially just curious. I'm basically just a fan of Eren Yeager. And I told him, something needs to get this military, something needs to light a fire underneath them.
Yeah, because it as you guys were, you're just arguing and you're planning and you're like debating what's right and wrong. Mm-hmm. And like, it's just taking too long.
She's trying to make herself look like a participant in the narrative rather than a planner of a conspiracy.
Yeah.
And this is, to me, I'm like, this seems pretty evident that that's the case. And Pyxis seems that thinks so as well.
Do you get any Willie Tyler vibes from Yelena?
Yeah. 100%. I'm pretty sure she's part of his secret guard or something. She's tall and blonde.
Yeah, the tall thing. Yeah, we mentioned that before.
I think that that's her tribe is whatever people are guarding him or were guarding him.
Very tall people with the red.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hats or whatever.
I just think it's weird that she's like, oh, we talked about lighting a fire, blah, 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 blah. And then he presses her and she goes, I just wanted him to know who I am. What?
Yeah. So
no,
I agree
that makes no sense. Why would you risk a secret meeting just for...
Well, to be fair,
no.
She is a freak. So.
She is a freak, but also she is proven by her past. She's calculating. She does things on purpose for a reason.
And she doesn't just do her own will. She does the will of Zeke.
Exactly.
This kid nails it. He says Zeke is on Team Zeke and Yelena is on Team Zeke.
Agreed. Yeah. And so we find out, just to skip ahead a little bit here, we find out from Onyonkapon as well, like Yelena is a shrewd operator, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Right? She's very loyal to Zeke, very loyal to like their cause, willing to kill for it. She is not, I don't think she's the radical she's putting off like she is. She is weird. She's a bit of a freak. There's something radical inside of her, but what I'm saying is that there's two types of radicals. Okay, there's the emotional kind, and then there's the kind of diabolical genius.
Yeah. She is that one.
I don't think she's the emotional one. I think she's the diabolical genius type.
Yeah, but it won't surprise me, say like at the end of this season, if like they like open up like her like little like locker on the ship or whatever.
She has a bunch of pictures.
She's got like cutouts.
She has like a shrine of Zeke.
A
lock
and some Terrans, and she's got like a bunch of skulls. You're like, oh, okay. Completely wouldn't surprise me at all.
I think Floch is more of the emotional kind, though.
Yes, I would agree.
He's also very charismatic, it would seem, and is good at winning people over to his side because he has 100 people. Sorry,
yeah, these Jaegerists, man, they popped up quick and they're organized.
One detail I do want to highlight here is that this is actually the first time where Pyxis actually confirms. He says, you convinced Eren to go to the island alone. Okay, so we've been questioning this whole time, like, we know Eren went rogue, we know he did some, but they haven't said specifically exactly what he did. Mm-hmm. Now we understand it a little bit more from this episode. So Eren went to Marley by himself, it sounds like, which, weirdly enough,
and then
we had a fan who wrote into us, who wrote an email to us, I think like right at the beginning of season 4, like it was real early on. They said, I think Eren actually went on his own. And then when we were watching the subsequent episodes, we were like, we kind of disagreed. We're like, no, this looks like a coordinated attack. the funny thing is, it was both.
We were both right.
It was both a coordinated attack because it was technically Hange's plan, but Eren forced their hand by going there and setting it up and kind of just doing it anyway. And so, we also find out we don't know exactly what Eren was doing, if he talked to Zeke.
And much of his time on Marley is unaccounted for.
Right. So that's not good.
So he's got, so Pyxis says, okay, so you're the one who basically worked with Zeke to manipulate Eren into going and causing this this event to happen. And she says, oh no, I didn't manipulate him. He was concerned about
he had urgency as
well.
The
urgency, all I did was just kind of tell him someone needs to light a fire under the administration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, that's gonna make him go rogue and put all his friends in danger, and just that simple little sentence. Yeah, right. Okay.
So Pyxis calls her out here, and she kind of gets caught. She's like, "Why would I do that?" And she realizes, okay, I got to change. She changes trajectory in the conversation. Again, this feels very realistic to me. She goes, "Okay. Listen, you want the real truth? The real truth is we wanted Eren to crush Marley with the founding titan. He did heavy damage when he came to Marley. In fact, he exceeded our expectations. So now, here's the thing is, the tactic is actually exactly the same. The tactic is feed a little bit of something that is true. Mm-hmm. Feed some truth in there, but you don't reveal your whole hand. You need it to sound true enough that they believe you and let you on your way. And then she goes into radical mode. She's like, we're witnessing two brothers. They're reshaping history. They're changing history. And
yeah, she's crazy.
He's like, so you risked the secret meeting. You did this just because you were curious? And she's like, I deceived you, but it was for the sake of Eldia.
Yeah. That statement also makes no sense. What was for the sake of Eldia? I thought you just were curious.
Right.
Pick
your story.
Something and stick with it, you freaking liar.
See, that's the book, dude. He brings the book in.
Yeah, let's get the book out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to record every single thing you say because obviously we think you're spitting not all the facts. And then we're going to basically hold you, like a candle to
She's contradicting herself
the flame.
Constantly.
Hold you to the fire. Hold your feet to the fire.
To the fire?
There it is. There's the metaphor we're looking
for.
Nip it in the bud.
And she says, he delivered the divine retribution we had wished upon Marley for years. He exceeded expectations. Do you know? And this is when her eyes get really wide and her voice gets really deep. And I'm
she's looks like Satan lives inside her.
Can somebody look this up really quick? Is the voice actor for Yelena actually a dude?
Did they accidentally get Armin and Yelena's voice actors mixed up? Is that what happened?
They sent the emails to the wrong people. And
And she says, do you know what we're witnessing? We're witnessing history before our eyes. Reshaping history. The two brothers. I just want to be on their side. The other volunteers didn't know that I went and met with Eren.
Now, again, she's telling some truth in there. They didn't know, or at least so it seems.
She's such a creep.
I deceived you for the sake of Eldia.
What?
And Pyxis is like, oh, I'd like to believe you. But do you know how to tell a good lie? You need to mix a bit of the truth in with the lie as well.
He's a smooth operator himself, that there Pyxis.
Pyxis has been around, saying his first rodeo. He's seen a few things.
Can we put Yelena inside of a rock? Because she is just a terrible person, and I don't trust her.
So we move from that scene to Hange and Onyonkapon having a little interview.
Yeah, and it sounds like this interview is after the Yelena thing because Hange knows some of the information we just heard from Yelena to Pyxis. So time-wise. Anyway.
Also, why did she get up in his face all weird like that?
I don't know. That was a really weird...
Is that just Hange being a creep? But she's just like, why?
I thought she
understand.
They showed the apple core. I was like, was Hange just poisoned? She was eating an apple.
Was she going to say something to him? And he's like, what's wrong? And then they just cut to the next thing like, Hange's just a weirdo. What?
Yeah, well, I guess that's not that surprising. She's a bit of an odd person.
I don't understand, though.
All right, so he's like, they're playing cards, and he's like, yeah, we've only done stuff to make this island prosper, and we were comrades. We swore to work together in the future. And
he's saying all the right stuff.
Yeah, and he is saying all the right stuff. And that's when she reveals, hey, listen, Yelena went and met with Eren. And Onyonkapon looks like he's actually surprised. If he's faking it, it's an incredible fake. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
And the Emmy goes to.
And then
the Oscar, rather.
She catches him, and she says, you didn't say... Yelena, oh, she would never do that. I can't believe Yelena did it. No, you said Yelena. Which means that you can believe it.
Yeah, because she's a freaking creeper.
She's that type of person.
So here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell me everything you know about Yelena in order to save our country. So Onyonkapon begins to kind of open up about Yelena. And we get to see some of the creepy backstory behind Princess Creepy herself.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting to me is that Yelena was responsible for organizing the volunteers. These kind of like new restorationists, these resistors.
I've been questioning that.
Yelena was responsible for organizing them. And guess who probably put her in charge of that?
Zeke.
Puppet Master Zeke. So he basically somehow got to her and created this like insane loyalty in her, gave her this vision, and she, based on that, went and created this whole faction of resistors, these brave volunteers, and she began to like order all these people who have been oppressed by Marley and say, hey, like, you want to get some revenge? You want to fight for freedom? You want to be a resistor? It's only one way we can do it.
Yeah, it's interesting because this version of the restorationist, the wall restorationist, is it's more inclusive, as they say, meaning it's not just Eldians. Because so the restorationists, as we knew them from season 3 via the Titan memories and the papers we found in the basement, was was a small group, and they're all Eldians, right? And they're pissed because they're
being oppressed,
understandable. This version of, quote, the restorationists includes everybody who's been oppressed by Marley, regardless of race. It's not just Eldians inside the walls, it's Eldians beyond the walls. The thing that I can't get past and I cannot figure out for the life of me, please give us some info on this, Isayama, before this half is over. So I've been theorizing about this the whole time. So Zeke, as of what we know so far, there is no real reason that they've given to us for Zeke to suddenly want to work with the people on Paradis.
Yeah.
The plan to do so...
Pyxis theorizes that he failed to get the power by force, so he's going to try diplomacy.
Sure.
But holy crap, he just goes from like, I'm going to kill you all, to like, anyways, guys, I got a secret plan, and we're going to be able to beat Marley. And you're like, wait a second.
Well, just the
why
idea,
didn't he just go straight to that?
Just the idea that that Zeke has any interest on fighting on behalf of anybody except Marley is brand spanking new and completely the opposite of everything we saw of him so far.
Right.
I understand we've heard the theories, about the owl, and it was this extremely long play, and Zeke turned his parents in actually as part of the restorationist stuff. Like, maybe that sounds crazy to me. That sounds a little too...
I'm wondering if they explain that better in the manga and we just don't know. Like, maybe Zeke explains himself and they left that out for some reason. Maybe they're going to do it later.
But what I'm saying is that they set him up squarely in the camp of, this is a guy who's on Team Marley, and like he's going to be one of the central kind of villains, so to speak, in the coming season. And now here we are in season 4 and everything's on his head. That's fine. But what I don't understand is, what was it specifically that made Zeke change his mind? Was the fact that he was defeated on Paradise and he thought, okay, like you said, was Pyxis right? Like, you can't beat him, join him, and manipulate him so you can get the Founding Titan power for yourself? Or, like, what combination of things is in there?
Yeah, it seems like Zeke, you'd think somebody who showed the passion he had in killing all of the scouts would not just so easily be able to lay that aside just to accomplish his goal and be like, hey, now we're going to work together. Now let's fight Marley together, and no big deal. And you're like, wait a second. You were just so like passionately murdering our people.
Right.
What shifted so drastically that now you're 100% on our side?
And not just that, but why this is not a guy who's fought for the sake of, quote, Eldians at any point.
That we've seen,
right.
The thing that I kind of quit back, Eric and I were talking about this earlier, is like, we haven't seen a lot of Zeke, so we really don't know his character. He really could be a very hidden character and have all these secret feelings we don't know about. It's just that his actions haven't matched any of those other things that we've thought of before. So we can understand it from Zeke wants to get from point A to point B, and the easiest way now is to work with the Eldians. I can understand that from a logical standpoint. What I can't understand is the emotional standpoint.
Right.
How you change your emotions so quickly. Is he really that cold and calculated? I don't think so.
I mean, cold and calculated would describe Zeke pretty well. We haven't even seen a single emotional outburst from that guy, except for when he gets caught by Levi. Then he's like scared. But beyond that, he's a pretty like stoic dude. I'm just not sure. They just don't fully explain it so far. I'm sure it'll all unravel in time, but specifically,
we did talk about how in the end of season 3, Zeke is watching Eren, and he says,
I'm gonna come back
not yet.
Oh, the end of season 2.
Sorry, season 2.
Yeah.
He says, not yet.
On the wall.
And then the end of season 3, he says, I'm going to come back and I'm going to save you.
I'm going to rescue you.
But he doesn't say, I'm going to rescue all Eldians and I'm going to help you free your people.
of the few lines we get from Zeke, he says right there, our father
deceived
both of us. He brainwashed both of us. One day I'm going to come back and rescue you. How does that? And now he himself is a quote a restorationist. Like,
yeah, it seems like he would say more something like, you don't really know understand the full truth of our father. I'll help you understand. He says, no, like our father deceived us.
Right. Talks about him in a very negative
and
way.
now it seems like they're both following.
He says he's going to rescue him. I want to know what that means.
From what?
Exactly. From the lies of their father? Question mark?
I don't know, dude. We got to get to know this character more. Anyway, back to Onyonkapon. Yeah, he tells us about Yelena. He tells us she killed for the sake of Zeke and showed her loyalty to the group. She got her hands dirty, so to speak. There's a bunch of accidental deaths. We buried friends and people we ate with, right? So she is a radical. Like I said, she's a diabolical genius type, but she is a radical. Like she'll really go to bat specifically. I don't know who it was who said this in the chat, the Team Zeke thing. But Zeke's on Team Zeke and Yelena is also on Team Zeke. But
yes,
seems right to me.
But where does Eren stand? Is Eren on Team Eren? Is he on Team Ymir? Is he on Team Eldea? Does he really believe what he's doing is actually going to save all the people?
Who even is Eren anymore?
Who even is Eren? I need a T-shirt or like something.
I feel like I don't even know him anymore.
So he mentions one last thing I want to highlight here. He says, she pushed on through all this. We all pushed on for the sake of our homelands that have been oppressed by Marley and taken over by Marley. So their unifying thing here is that they don't like Marley. Again, Zeke seems to be on that team. I don't know how he got on that team, except that, again, after his defeat in Paradise, I can see that being the beginning of a change of some kind, but they just haven't explained it. So Hange comes back and says...
What? We're still on Onyonkapon? Onyonkapon is saying Yelena proved herself.
Yes.
You already talked about this?
Yeah.
That's what he's been talking
killing
about.
people and stuff.
By mysterious
accidental
deaths. Who else does it sound like? These accidental deaths.
The MPs from that Hange had in jail.
Yeah.
I totally thought of that. Yeah.
Armin's dad.
All the people that were, putting the plan or the king at risk had to be
everybody in the show
had
turns
to be
into
killed.
The SS.
So we see all these times where she basically mysteriously or accidentally affected someone dying.
Mm-hmm.
This brought up a good point. Do you remember in Liberio where Reiner and Gabby are like walking, and we see the soldier who committed suicide or fell
But there's
off,
like a person.
we thought we saw a person in the background. Yelena's on Paradis at that time, but do you think like a fellow wall restorationist was just killing another person who was anti-Eldea and it's an accidental death? Or do you think that was something else? Because that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that.
I mean, definitely.
Was Eren the shadowy figure that pushed him out the window?
Well, a big question really here, on that note, a big question really is, inside of Marley, how many restorationists, how many Team Zeekers are there still? I mean, it doesn't sound like they're all on the island. We have that
statement that there's rats in the house
there's
or whatever.
Rats in
how
the
many?
House.
Usually, if there's rats in a house, there are thousands.
Nested.
Well, yeah, so we know there's a lot of rats in Marley.
Thousands. Have you seen Ratatouille? Okay.
There's also a lot of rats in Paradise.
So my question is, are the Jaegerists of Marley and Paradise, is that where this thing is going? Is that the Jaegerists of the world essentially
are they basically on the
and
same side as the wall restorationists? They all want the same thing? Mm-hmm. Or are they a loose coalition that Zeke is using to achieve his plan?
Okay. I'll talk about this at the end. I'm going to skip that. I almost opened another can of worms. All right. So then this is where Hange says, you make it sound like Yelena was really oppressive to Marleyans in Marley. But since she's been here, she's been fighting on their behalf, and it seems like she's really like on,
Yeah, why would she go to bat for the Marleyans
pressured
here?
Their government to give them certain rights, and then
when she kills them on purpose and hates them
on Marley, wants and even says to Pyxis she wants Marley to suffer and be destroyed and turn to dust.
Who was it again?
What the flippin' crap is this woman doing?
Who was it again who organized all the volunteers? Oh, Yelena. So she would know like which ones will do certain things or have certain abilities or maybe
could be strategically placed somewhere.
She's the
interesting
mastermind.
Among some restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she puts them in the weirdest spots. All right, so then
And
we get
spreads
to
them out apparently too.
last note on that, Hange says, "Come with me," and Zachary actually reveals. So then we get to the next thing. Zachary actually says to Mikasa and Armin that Hange's been all over the place, and she has one of the volunteers with her, and like I gave her permission. So it seems like we've had another kind of time lapse between that cut and this cut.
Yeah, because Hange's got the information about Yelena,
Right.
and then she's talked to Zachary, and then taken Onyonkapon to go like do interviews and stuff.
And we don't know what her like investigating is exactly, but
I want to see a buddy cop movie about
those two.
Hange and Onyonkapon going and solving mysteries all over Eldia, and Hange being a weirdo and stuff.
What was the name of that show? The fake show with they're communists and they were the buddy cop version of
yes, Comrade Detective.
Comrade Detective.
So funny.
Such a funny show. I need to go back and watch that.
Yes.
All right, so this is the conversation with Zachary and
Mikasa
Armin and
Armin.
Mikasa.
and Armin, and he says, "Hey, listen, I can't allow you to meet with Eren," which has got to be he seems like a smart guy, but this is really a dumb move, don't you think?
Yes.
They're the only
very
people he
dumb.
would talk to, or the only people he has talked to. So, I can't. He's had. So I don't understand his reasoning. He says that he's had contact with the volunteers, and therefore he can't talk to them.
I think I understand maybe a little bit why he thinks it's risky, because Armin is the Colossal Titan and Mikasa is Lady Mikasa of the Azumabito clan.
Yeah.
They are very valuable assets to him now.
So
they
what if-
can't allow them to get anywhere near Eren because he can escape whenever he wants to.
Or what if Eren co-ops them and gets them on his side?
Exactly. It's too risky
So
to
guess
lose
what?
them.
You go with people and you listen to their conversation to make sure they're not talking in code or saying anything bad. All we need right now is for the three amigos to come together, and we need the truth to come out. We need Eren's actual intentions to be revealed. Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And what
What's
do you
going
want?
Who even is
I
Eren?
understand though why he would say it's too risky for them to go meet with Eren because they could be lost
I think he's
to
still
Eren
being
or
a
be,
bit of
be
a
kidnapped away or something.
Well, he's also on the team, as we find out. Like, you can't go talk to him. This may just be the simple explanation. You can't go talk to him because we're actually planning to hand off his power to somebody else. Because remember, the scouts are literally cut out of the loop here. We find out in the next
because
scene.
they're too close to the Marleyan volunteers. That's why Pyxis didn't tell them that he was going to capture them all, because he doesn't trust them already.
And because there's too many Floch Foresters in there stirring up all the Jaegerists.
True.
So, yeah.
Which they
Rats
didn't
in the
really
house.
know about, but I think they might have suspected possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he says, listen, we believe that Eren's being manipulated by Zeke. Since we've questioned him, he hasn't said a word. And we're still in the dark about much of what he did on Marley, too. So we don't actually know how much
boy.
information Zeke and Eren have moved,
Dude, the
what they've
baseball.
planned. The baseball, man. It's
They're on
all
the
right
same
there.
I think them sending in Hange was probably the closest person to him that they were willing to risk him talking to, and that didn't go well at all.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well,
Because she did try to appeal to his sense of friendship a little bit and reminding him that they had a pre-existing relationship, and he friggin' snapped and got violent with her.
my boy's
But-
weird now.
And
would
rattled
he get
her.
violent with Armin? That's like his little bro.
I don't
Mikasa?
know.
Listen, I'll get
I
violent
hear you
with
guys. I'm
Mikasa.
just
No,
saying
just
they're
kidding.
not willing to risk those two, so they risked Hange, and that didn't go well. So that made them even less willing to let Armin and
I see
Mikasa
what
go
you're
talk
saying.
to him.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not a good idea anyways, but I could see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So he basically just says, he mentions this too, that Eren had kept secrets about meeting, which is just true. Like, not only, so we didn't know what he's doing in Marley. He also kept secrets about being in contact with the volunteers and Elena and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, he didn't tell them about that before he
it's
left.
a bad look.
Yeah,
at the
we
very
can't
least.
trust Eren, which is why he's in
Gosh,
bars.
I feel
And-
bad for Armin and Mikasa at this point.
They're in a weird spot. It's tough. So he also says he hasn't said a word since all this came to light,
Mhm.
and you can actually see they show Armin and Mikasa a couple times. And they're like, "What is happening right
They
now?" I
don't
feel like they're saying what
understand.
we're
They
thinking.
It's like you find out that one of your close friends
Like-
isn't who you thought he was.
Yeah, I know. I'm like sitting here thinking, like, how would you guys feel if I just suddenly started doing horrible things and that didn't sound anything like me? You'd probably be, what is going on?
Yeah, how much would we come to your defense? Be like, no, Rachel would never do that. But then you hear more and more and more. You're like, wait,
Well, Rachel just
did
murdered
she?
a bunch
This
of
is
people.
a-
Like, oh, what?
This is interesting.
Please.
So
I won't.
what's
I'm
the
never.
Kardashian's dad, the lawyer, the O.J. Simpson lawyer? What was his? The Kardashians. Why can't I say he's dead? And he died a while back. Okay, this is
know.
relevant.
don't care.
This is relevant.
Would you
no
like
one
me to
can say his
Google
name
it?
offhand.
I can't. I
I can't say his name. Okay, so there was a guy, weirdly enough, he's actually the father of the Kardashian like clan. So he was a lawyer, right? And he got put onto, he got signed on to O.J. Simpson, to be one of O.J. Simpson's defense lawyers during the whole trial in the 90s. And so
Rob?
Is it Rob Kardashian? Yeah, that sounds right. I think that sounds right. I think that's it. At any rate, he gets put on the he gets put on the defense for O.J. Simpson, and the thing is, part of that is because he's a personal friend. He wasn't like a real practicing lawyer. It was almost just like O.J. kind of just wanted somebody he knew or something.
Robert
like
Kardashian.
Rob. There it is.
Yeah.
So he brought him on. Is it David Schwimmer who plays him in that? They did a dramatization of the O.J. Simpson trials. It was really good actually, and I think David Schwimmer plays.
Robert Kardashian.
At any rate, my point is that he gets put on this defense team, and so when the OJ thing first happens, as with anything, like no one just knows what the answer is. Like you gotta go through, what's that?
Roberto.
Nobody knows exactly what had happened, right? It has to go to trial. There has to be evidence presented, and you figure out what the heck is going on. And so he, being a friend of OJ, is like, yeah, I'll be on your defense team. And they show this really well in the movie, and apparently this is a thing in real life as well. Is that throughout the trial, though, you see less and less of Kardashian on the bench, and eventually, by the end of the trial, once it's all over, stuff like that, he has nothing to say. He didn't do a book deal. He said he basically kept tight-lipped and distanced himself from OJ after the trial was done. And so in the movie, they kind of portray it as though, like, as the trial's going on, the evidence is getting presented, and he's like, "You're not who I thought you were." And they even have a scene where it's a mini series, is what it is. But they even have a scene where he's like, "OJ, did you do it?" And he's like, "You think I did it?" And OJ doesn't answer him straight, and he gets like shook by that, and he's like, "Okay." And like my point is to say, like, it's a real thing. It is a real thing that we can kind of be blind to people that are around us, to the stuff that they do, and like what you just said is it. Like, how much you're going to come to their defense, and this is we've already said this in previous episodes, but this is such an important thing. Whether it's Eren and the gang, Zeke and the gang, like when it comes to human beings, your loyalty should never be to the human being specifically. You can never just look at a human being and say everything you do is good and everything you will do is always only ever going to be good.
And I'm on your side no matter what you do.
You can't say I will be on your side no matter what you do, because what if they put a gun at you? You know what I mean? Like that's not to say that you can't have trust. You should have trust. There's very much reasons to do that. But I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, we don't pledge our loyalty to human beings. We pledge our loyalty to ideas, to things like freedom and whatever, kindness and justice and all those kinds of things. Because when you put your trust in a person, there's high odds that person ends up kind of betraying you. So this whole thing,
unless they're God.
Unless they are God himself, right? There's only one not traitor. But the whole them pledging like allegiance, like, Eren, you're the only one who can save us.
You're 100% sure Eren's never going to make another mistake?
Maybe in anime that can work, but in real life, that's usually a bad move to just be like, hey, everything you say, like, your word is law. That's a cult is what that is.
You know what works well is not when you just have one person dominate everything. What works well is when you have like
two brothers dominate everything? I'm kidding, sorry.
When you have a conglomeration, a think tank, and you have a difference of ideas and opinions, and those things can kind of like fight it out, and the best ones can rise to the top. And you can say, truly, these are the most tried, the best, the most well thought out theories on philosophy, on ethics, on morals, and all, on government, on how we should live our lives, not just one person's unabashed opinion that's completely unchecked. No, maybe they'll get it right, but maybe they'll get it wrong. And now that you've committed yourself to their cause, you are like a slave unto that cause.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be slaves.
Not around here.
So they show that as they're talking, Zachary just happens to walk over and stand
special chair
next to his special chair, and I'm pretty sure this is the chair.
That's the chair. You're right. Like when you said it, I was like, "Yep, that's true." The chair that he like specifically had built
to restrain the nobles,
like torture all the nobles during the coup, and he was like, "I lived my whole life for this. I'm so like he's such a freak." Can we just remember that Zachary's a freak?
Yeah. I never trusted him after that. I was like, you're a creep, man.
Yeah.
He basically is like, I would have done this coup just so that I can torture these people. And I was like, okay, you're going to die a horrible death at some
he doesn't
point
care
in
about
this
the
show.
ideals.
A bit of a radical himself.
He's not a principled person, yeah. So he's got this restraint chair, which would just be perfect for restraining, I don't know, a Titan shifter.
Yeah.
And Mikasa and Armin look like, why has he got that chair here? And he says, oh, I had some recruits bring it in.
There was nowhere to put it. I like that chair. It's
there
fine.
was no other space, so I had them bring it in.
It's
okay. And Armin speaks up and he speaks the truth. He says, look, if he's not talking, that's all the more reason that we can actually help. We can get him talking. And it won't hurt to at least get us to try. We can't guarantee he's going to tell us the truth, but we can guarantee that we can get him talking a little bit. And Zachary says, I'm an elitist. I make the decisions around here. I'm not about to hear some arguments about good and truth and whatever might be a good idea. You're donezo. Get out of my office, right? So GTFO. So they begin to walk out and they're like, it's not wrong to talk to somebody. It's almost like, I don't know, we have this like God-given right to be able to, I don't know,
freely associate,
freely speak our opinions, and I don't know.
Free speech.
Interesting. But then he says, like, it's not wrong to talk to somebody. The government can't tell us we can't talk to somebody. Speech isn't, going to like cause a coup. We want to know what he's doing, and we're on the side of LD. We're on the right side here. We're trying to actually help our country. And Mikasa's like, yeah, even though they say that we shouldn't, I think we should go do it.
Yeah. Well, then, but Armin correctly gets to it. He goes, I think he doesn't want us to talk to Eren. Pretty sure if they're done with him, they're going to pass on the power. So he's done it. They don't want to talk to him because they're about to kill homeboy. Well, somebody else.
I think he also sees the 3 MPs walk past, and he's like, I think they're planning something right now.
Yeah, so she goes to listen to the door, and she's like, he's like, we can't risk it. It's just funny because this is the first time like Armin and Mikasa have to be in the kind of moral predicament. A lot of other characters have been placed pretty squarely in this like, moral like dilemmas or whatever throughout the show. This is like one of the first times I think they both, Armin when he had to blow up for sure, but I'm saying when he had to transform, but then right here where they're like, wait, who do we trust? Like, should we break the law right now? Should we like, I'm gonna go eavesdrop. No, don't eavesdrop. Maybe I should eavesdrop. Like they're in the dilemma all of a sudden. Like, what's the right thing to do here? This is illustrating like they don't know what team they're on, which is actually true. Right? There's a sense in which they don't like. You hope they're loyal to principles, but with Mikasa, she's a little on the ride or die for Eren train, so we'll see. I'll be honest, I'm surprised a little bit that they haven't just like come out and been like, yeah, Mikasa's the Jaegerist of them all. Like, let me tell you. All right, so explosion happens. Zachary's corpse.
Thankfully,
goes flying out the
Armin
window.
stops her from eavesdropping because she would have been blown up.
Yeah, it's pretty. This is
Yeah, it's crazy.
But also, how did she sense the explosion before it exploded? Because she like stops and then turns to protect Armin, like she knows there's going to be an explosion.
She has Spidey senses. She has Ackerman senses.
What what? Okay, well, anyway.
She just happens to know there's an explosion, looks back, the explosion happens. She protects Armin with her amazing Ackerman abilities. The explosion happens. We're like, oh my gosh. We see Zachary's corpse flung out, and he's like blown in half.
Yeah.
That part. So brutal.
So the chair cut him anyway. At any rate, yeah, his body's out there.
That is kind of poetic justice, though. I mean, if you think about it. His chair being the thing that blows him up.
Yeah, a little interesting.
The comment section has confirmed that that he sat on it or something like that. Anyway, we don't know. We don't want to speak on that. Who knows? Either way, he's a creepy guy. He gets blown out the window. Explosion happens. He falls down, and all of a sudden we realize there's some sort of like coup attempting.
Yeah.
This has gone from more than just a couple people protesting to like violent action is happening, and they run out. Armin and Mikasa run out to Hitch, and they're like, "What's going on?" They see Zachary being covered up, his
top half,
and
his legs are gone.
The protesters aren't like, "Oh my gosh, an explosion happened!
Horrible.
I can't believe
Our
it."
premier has been murdered. They're like,
"Yes,
yeah, that's right.
Our voices
son.
are going to get heard. You're going to experience
Give your heart."
And they all start chanting, "Give your heart." Shinze Sasagi-yo.
Man, dude, I was all about this salute
too.
Okay.
They do this
I was all about this.
To be fair,
and now
though,
I don't know if I can be anymore.
To be fair,
what
the
am I
salute.
supposed to do with myself?
The salute has been co-opted by the Jaegerists, but also Pyxis still does the salute to his people after he gives the explanation.
Right.
So it's not like they're like, okay, this is a dirty hand signal, guys. We can't do this anymore. We do our own thing now.
But they like chant it and they're like angry.
They're
it's
like,
hard.
How did they get so united so quickly?
I mean, because they now have a common
Floch,
enemy.
Man, I'm telling you, that guy.
I have to talk on behalf of the people for just a second, okay? I understand.
A man of the people. Here we go.
I can see both sides. I'm trying to be a politician.
I can see both sides too.
I can see both sides of this because these people are legit mad because they're like, remember how you were like keeping secrets from us? That sucks. We don't like it. Also, and I was pointing this out before.
So now we're going to blow things up.
Well, not necessarily. It's not the right
Sorry.
tactic. What I'm saying is that, okay, I'm trying to put this I'm trying to collect the train and put it on the tracks, and we can all go down this train. There's an ant on my. Sorry, we have sugar ants everywhere.
I've seen a few of them. I actually am on your side, but I'm still going to be like the devil's advocate, so to speak.
The people are saying here, listen, number one, just try and picture yourself. If any of these people are like 20 years old, they have lived through Titan attack,
geez.
a culling, and a horrible government, Rod Rice, the Shadow Ruler, the whole 9 yards, right?
And then he turns into the
A
giant
coup.
fireworm.
A coup, a successful coup,
Finding
a new
out that there's
regime.
other people outside the world and they all hate you.
Yes.
Learning what racism is.
Yes, exactly. We're talking about some of the most traumatic things that a population. I'm talking not just individuals.
Oh, by the way, you've all been held in a cage for your whole lives for no reason.
They've just gone through that in the last
And the world
few
thinks
years.
you're devils.
And then fast forward to now, and this new government is now doing the same old crap essentially as the other one. And it's not just that they're doing the same old crap. They're hiding stuff from you and kind of trying to portray themselves in a certain light and keeping secrets. It's that I mentioned this before, that when it comes to politics, when it comes to public policy stuff, when it comes to competing for people's attention, the difference between somebody with no plan and somebody with a bad plan is infinite.
A plan.
The bad plan is going to win because people want security, they want certainty, and even if your plan sucks, as long as you have one and you can articulate it
and
well,
you're confident enough, we got to do this.
if you can sell it, it doesn't have to be a good plan, but if you can pitch it really hard, people are going to gravitate towards that. And so my point is to say that people have just discovered that Eren and the gang have a plan. And the plan is rumbling, and the plan is, fight for Aldea, for this new Aldean kingdom. And these are people, again, who've been repressed for a very long time. And so they're out there in the streets going, you're planning to be passive like King Rice was passive. You're planning to do exactly you don't even have a plan.
Not just that, but you've taken away the one thing we finally had going for us.
We had hope in defending our island, and now you're telling us you've detained that guy, or the one dude who was giving us hope. And like I'm saying, Hange, Premier Zachary, Pyxis, as far as we can tell, haven't presented to the rest of the world, to Paradise, an alternative plan.
And to
What
be
else are they
fair,
gonna do?
from the average Paradisian occupant, right? You like you said, you grew up in this world, terrible world, oppressed by these horrible monsters your whole life. What's the one shining thing that came and stopped the monsters and cleared the monsters out? Eren Yeager. What's the one thing that came and filled the hole in the walls and protected all the people who thought had no way out? Eren Yeager. Who's the one person who's fought back against the people who infiltrated our country and attacked us?
Place.
Eren Yeager. Who's the one person who didn't just do that? He cleared out all the Titans of our land, went to Marley, and hit him back where they believed.
Them. Yeah.
Am I a Jaegerist?
I don't know.
Shinzasagi, I'll give you heart! No.
He's doing it.
Whoa.
Right. Give me a second.
Okay, listen, I understand why.
Eren did nothing wrong. Okay, I was just
I understand why they feel that way. It does make sense for sure.
Yeah, it makes sense from their perspective because they don't see the shift in Eren. They don't see that he started off as this good-hearted person who just wanted freedom for his people, and now all of a sudden he's invading and he's taking chances and he's risking other people's lives and he's not caring about the people any longer.
Yeah.
The chat's popping off right now.
Join us, please.
I got 100 troops. Meet me. I'll take my shirt off. We're gonna meet out.
Yeah, we're gonna be outside. You're gonna get a girl man bun too.
Yeah.
Okay, I just can't get behind trusting Zeke. I just can't.
I can't. No.
Oh, for sure.
No.
I can't get behind trusting Eren either. People are gonna bow to this guy.
And if Eren is being manipulated by Zeke like a puppet, then
what if Eren is secretly manipulating Zeke and he's gonna actually turn on him when he meets up?
That'd be great.
I would be back on team Eren for 100%. I feel like I'd go down on that unless Eren's plan leads to Sasha Browse's family being killed. If that's the case,
if they become pure Titans, I
can't. You cannot kill all the wholesome people in the show and expect me to root for you. I'm sorry.
Dang. I don't want it to happen. All right, moving on. We're gonna say that for prediction section. I'm holding my tongue here.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, the next scene after. Let's see. How can I think I fast forwarded through my notes. I'm sorry about this. Zachary gets blown up.
So then
the chair bomb. Oh, they discuss the chair bomb.
They start discussing the coup, the possible coup.
Yeah, they discuss the coup. They say, all right, the chair had a bomb in it. We don't know who the culprit is. The volunteers are in house arrest, and Armin mentions that Premier Zachary said that the scout recruits, are the ones who brought this in. We don't know from where or anything, and they're all and then they say again that we saw scout recruits leaving the headquarters before all this happened. And so now
That seems to push a lot of people in the room over the edge, and then
history
they're like,
repeats itself. The scouts are suspect again.
a lot of these insurgents, or whatever you want to call them, are scouts. How do you explain that, Hange? And now Hange's on the chopping block, and she doesn't even like get defensive at all. She goes, "I'll take the punishment. I'm sorry,
but I can't step down now," which is also something that Erwin did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. That would be irresponsible, she says. So this is also where the news breaks that Eren has escaped, right?
Which, if they murdered Premier Zachary, the next step is to free Eren.
Yeah, free Eren.
As soon as that explosion went off, I'd be like, get to Eren now.
Yeah.
It seems like Eren just escaped, though.
We don't know. We also don't know how Floch, Forrester, and everybody else got out.
He has the Titan Eye thing.
Yeah,
he just
he
transformed
used
and was like, "F off,
Warhammer
guys."
Titan to escape. He
Very
even
possible.
told Hange that he could escape whenever he wanted to.
Yeah.
So
He did say that.
that was, in my opinion, his way of telling her, "I'm going to escape. Do you have a plan? Tell me you have a plan, Hange, because I'm going to escape. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing."
It's the same thing. No plan versus a bad plan.
I think that he secretly wants Hange to stop him, but he's going to do something because, like you were saying, something is better than nothing. He wants to keep moving forward. And even if he doesn't really like the plan, it's a plan.
So he goes, and we see Eren slowly trudging up this hill.
Barefoot.
The sun's
The scene
coming
from
down.
the trailer.
Shirt off, abs rippling.
All right.
Hair back.
We have to own it, or at least I have to own it. So we did a review, a breakdown of the trailer, season 4 trailer when it launched, and I was like, "That's not Eren."
And I was
That's a
like, maybe
different
it's
character.
Eren. I don't know.
But I was like, "No way," because and everyone
Could be.
we got trashed in the YouTube comments like, "No, they said his name. That's freaking him," and you just don't know what he looks like, all ripped like that. It was him. All right,
And he has a man bun.
humble pie. Here we go. Putting it in my mouth.
I agree with Hange. I like it too.
We've come so far from where
But in the end,
does it even matter? I had to fall to lose it all. So Eren trudges up. He sees a crowd of people. He's got an army now. The Jaegerist army is, and Floch Forrester's got his shirt. "Here you are, senpai," and he lifts it up. Eren flips it around.
Okay,
he actually
it's a
says, "What
hoodie."
a crowd! Is this everyone?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, "No, we still got some people inside the military. Rats
Dun, dun,
inside the
dun.
house."
We've got allies in the military, including some who blew up. Now I can't say Premier Zachary's first name because it's never on the screen.
Dahlia.
Dallas, but there's I think it is supposed to be Dallas because it's DALHIS.
Dala.
I think.
Dallas.
I
So I
don't
think it's supposed to be Dallas.
Dahlia.
I think
Dahlia?
it's Dala.
Mm,
Dala
Dahlia
Zachary.
murder. All right, so that's when bows down and says the only one who can save the Eldian
Dallas.
Empire and people is you, Eren Yeager. All right.
Eren Yeager.
Dude, okay, I
You
got
gotta
it.
say it like that,
We
though,
gotta
because
say
that's
it.
how they say
What?
it. In,
Red Couscous is saying that nobody gives him the safety and security as a leader that Erwin did. Like Hange, not Levi, not anybody. I don't feel like
no one gives Eren the safety and security?
no us.
Oh,
Like
yeah, for
I don't
sure.
trust. Like you were saying earlier. Like who can you trust? We could have trusted Erwin. That's who we could have trusted.
Now.
yes, but would this show have been as entertaining as it is right now?
Okay, true.
No, it wouldn't have been.
No, it
I'm
wouldn't.
not saying I'm
Rip.
a fan of Erwin dying because I'm not, but also I get why Isayama had him taken out. That's why.
Yeah, you have to create the
It creates
instability.
way more tension without him in the picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
you think it's supposed to be Darius? Interesting.
Darius? Yeah, I could see
That makes more sense as a
Darius,
name.
Dallas? Yeah.
Darius, Zachary.
Okay, so we get this kind of quick cut of a few. It cuts back and forth here. It goes to Armin and he's saying he'll understand. Eren will understand. Mikasa, Eren will understand if we talk to him. If we just get to talk to him, he'll understand. And he's like panicking because he's like, "Oh crap! I think my friend's a bad guy."
And he's trying to convince himself.
Yes,
He's ever the optimist. And then we see that look in Eren's eyes. They're like, "Yeah, we killed Zachary. Here's your coat." No emotion. Not like, "Hey, you guys, you didn't have to kill Zachary. Just get me out. It wasn't part of the plan." It's like, great. Everything's going as planned.
Yes.
And he says, go find out where Zeke
Yeah.
is.
So we saw this coming once we figured out that this thing was going on. Like, oh, Eren's escaped. Well, he's going to go be part of Zeke's plan as Zeke's being held. And
Okay, can we just point out though that Zachary was a freak and Eren was aware of this? So I mean, it's not really that weird that he wasn't that sad. Nobody was really that sad.
Yeah.
And even Pyxis was like, he would have wanted to die this way.
it's true. He does say that. He's like, yeah, he was a revolutionary at heart. He
So
really
I'm
wanted-
not super disturbed by his lack of emotional response to that. It's not like, it was Sasha or something.
Right. So this is the whole next scene is, all right, we're back with the top brass. They keep having to have meetings like this in this episode. This episode's like full of meetings with like whoever's still alive. So they're like, all right, Floch and 100 others have escaped from prison. We presume that their escape was timed with Eren's escape and with the murder of Premier Zachary. What shall we call them? Jaegerists. Thank you, Internet, for spoiling that. So this is Niall speaking, I believe, is where he says, oh no, it's Riog, or however you're supposed to say his name. He says, what is their goal? What's the Jaeger's goal? And I'm trying to think who answers.
Hange.
Hange's one answer. To bring Zeke and Eren together and put Eren on top of the military. The murder was to show their resolve. And I understand fully what provoked them, which was the scheme to take the founding titan without telling us. And so again, it's not like the one side is blameless and the other side is not.
No, the nuance of war, the nuance of politics, the nuance of not telling everybody everything. You guys, as elitists, withheld the truth from the people. The people found
From
out
your own
about
military.
the truth.
It's almost like you should
And they
communicate.
didn't like that. So they say, Hange, who all knows the location of Zeke? And she says, I do, the 30 troops in Levi who are out in the forest right now, and 3 people who make deliveries. And then I think is it Pyxis who says, Niall, is the Queen's
Is the
resident
Queen
safe?
He's like,
He says,
do you know her location? But we'll
So in
go
other
check
words,
anyway.
only the MPs know where she is.
yeah. Now, here's the
Hopefully
thing.
that's
Go
a good
secure
thing.
everybody, because that's who he's going after.
Here's the thing, though. What happens when you freak somebody out and you tell them, like, hey, I just took all your really important things? You wait and you see where they go to find out where all their important things are saved.
Yeah.
That's like a classic spy move.
Right.
Oh.
It's
They're
a
wanting,
classic-
yeah, exactly.
Remember the
Lead
spies
us
in the
to where we
military?
want to go.
Yeah.
Show us.
What a dumb thing to immediately go, oh no, the bad things happened? Go immediately to the places
To the
where no one
secret
should know.
places, yeah.
Exactly.
and secure
exactly.
them and make sure they're secure.
They even just said there's other defectors, Jaegerists inside our own military. Let's go.
They could be in this
Yeah.
room
They could be in
right
this room.
now.
Oh,
Let's go to our 2
come
most
on.
important things right now.
I mean, I would go there, but I would like double back. I would really make sure that no
I
one's following
wouldn't talk
me.
about it in a room with
No.
30 other people.
I'd just be like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom for 5 days.
5 days.
I'll see
Dude.
you later.
Dang.
So he says, okay, Eren's going to attempt to contact Historia and Zeke. Now, why do you think he's going to attempt to contact Historia?
Okay.
Because he
Zeke.
wants to check on his baby mama. That's what
That's
I think.
why.
I think he's checking out, hey, boo, what's up? How
but
you doing?
Why does Pyxis say that?
Exactly. Does he think
Does Pyxis think that? Now,
Eren's got a little bun in the oven here?
here's this is another like confusing plot point that I'm like, obviously we follow the show extremely closely and I still can't figure this one out. Okay, the royal blood thing. So Zeke's plan, so far as we understand it, is to get the founding titan together and somebody with royal blood together. Zeke has royal
Why
blood.
isn't he popping out babies?
Sure, why isn't he popping
I
out
mean,
babies?
he can't birth
We don't
babies,
know.
but what I mean is,
Why
why
is
isn't he
Historia-
impregnating
We
a
don't
bunch
know.
of
I would
women?
think that
Why is his story
Yelena would be
relevant?
pregnant right now. That's what I would think.
Who?
Yelena.
I was thinking,
Right. Oh,
I
God.
wonder if he
Jeez.
promised her to be the mother of the next royal beast titan or something, and that's why she's so
That's
loyal
good.
to
but
him.
super
does
weird.
he does he even have a year left? It
Nope.
takes 9 months to make a baby, y'all.
But you hear me?
Okay, but not for the dude. It takes him 5 minutes.
Right, but he can't
Jeez.
pass on his
Sorry.
power. 7 minutes, thank you very
All right,
much.
This podcast is gonna be explicit rating now. Thanks, Rach. No, but you see my question? Why is his story relevant at all? Zeke has royal blood and he has the Titan power. So Zeke, go into Titan mode. Eren, touch him. Do the rumbling. Why is his story relevant?
Exactly.
Because she's currently the only royal adult who can inherit Zeke's power when he runs out of time.
No, listen, other people can inherit Zeke's power. They could use other people as a storage. I don't want to, but you could use somebody else as a storage device. Say, hey, you rando, you're an Eldian, right? Cool. Eat this guy real quick. You're going to have the Beast Titan power. You're going to hang on to it for the glory of Eldea until these kids come of age, and then one of them is going to...
Well, there's also the urgency of, they're in the middle of war right now, too. But I don't know. I
Why?
also don't understand why Historia decided to get pregnant right now.
Yeah, they are not telling us all that.
Unless
was a lot going on.
unless it was Eren's way of keeping her from turning into the Beast Titan and having a shorter life. I don't know.
Zeke and Historia hook up to make the ultimate royal super baby. Yeah, I don't think Zeke has that kind of game. Have you seen Eren's abs? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I was also thinking that though, like it would make sense for him and Historia to have a child together because they both are royals, and it would make it the strongest royal blood person that's been born in a long time.
True. 2 actual royal bloodlines.
Actually, yeah.
That would make way more sense. But
he hasn't been on the island long enough to do the deed, right?
Yeah, it's true. She's already pregnant currently, so
another way for Eren to ensure that Zeke doesn't get his hands on her.
Oh, it's gonna really
literally.
Weird. Okay,
He's
so
like, yeah, I got to stop this right now.
So they put Pyxis in charge, and Armin essentially does. I love how Armin's like the Pope now. He's like,
Zeke is
I'll
pretty
make you the
ripped,
king.
though.
Like,
yeah, he literally goes to Zeke. Is like, you have to lead us. Like, who elected Armin the kingmaker here?
Yeah. What
but
was it? Charlemagne's
right.
the first king. That's how it was. Anyway,
He is
right. He is right. So Pyxis is like, and he's like, only you can lead us. What should we do? And Pyxis is like, yeah, we're gonna surrender to Eren and the gang.
He has us utterly beaten. Let's surrender.
And of course, they're all freaked out. But he explains himself pretty well. He's like, yeah, we can't do anything about the enemies in our midst. And if we were to try and root everything out, just think about the cost in blood that would end up taking. Right? It's gonna take time, and it's gonna
you're gonna torture people and be like, are you a Jaegerist? Yeah. And
so, and we have to admit,
ain't nobody got time for that.
I love this part because he actually admits it. He goes, it was our decisions that made these soldiers turn their backs on us. And so, yeah, I guess we have to bow to the people. And they question, like, do we have to bow to the people that killed Premier Zachary? And he's like, what you just said, Zachary would have wanted this. He wanted to go on a blaze of glory. Like, let him have it.
What a creep.
And the 4 that
really
died
is.
we shouldn't let these 4 deaths cause a full rift. So he's so in the camp of, no, we still have to stay unified, that even with essentially another coup,
a traitor in our midst,
a murder, this full conspiracy, even with this, they have the upper hand on us. And again, I'm telling you, man, not only do they have the upper hand because of their tactics, they have the upper hand because the people are with them.
And they're united.
The people are united. The people are with them. The people are behind this. It doesn't mean it's a good plan, but you have the camp who has a plan, and the camp who has not said anything, who just keeps tight-lipped and does nothing.
And if you violently oppose them, maybe it's the right thing to do, to be like, you guys are wicked, murderers who are attempting a coup. We have to fight against you, but you're going to have to kill a bunch of people who are kind of like going along with it as well. And you don't want to kill your own people. What you want to do is you want to go to the people, you want to make a peace, and you want to say, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but what if we didn't kill everybody? And you need to have a better plan. You need to have a better plan. Like you said, they had a plan. You guys had no plan. And you need to come with a good plan and say, here's what we need to do.
Yeah, their plan was to delay and check things out. Are we going to do
Try
this?
to make friends
but
with
Zeke doesn't have the
let you
time.
now.
Yeah.
So I think Zeke doesn't have that kind of time to play around. So they're trying to force the hand there. But what's crazy is Pyxis. This guy just lost one of his buddies. A coup happened, and he's still thinking chess. He's still playing chess. All y'all playing checkers.
Moves
and he's like,
and counter moves.
And he says, a house divided against itself cannot stand. If we're a divided LD, you think we're going to be able to stand up against Marley, let alone the whole rest of the world? No, we have to come together. And even though our friend just got murdered, we have to overlook it. And you can tell he doesn't want to. Everyone's shaking, everyone's clenching, and he's like, we have to overlook it.
They are literally gnashing their teeth.
Yeah. In order to be able to be one Eldia and to preserve the Eldian Empire. Let's go find out what they want to do. Let's go do the rumbling, and let's see if we can kind of come to an agreement somewhere.
A peaceable agreement.
Well, he says, all right, yeah. So he specifically says, we're going to use Zeke's location to negotiate. And so that is kind of like the big question mark here is Zeke. Yeah, so Pyxis' negotiating tool with the Jaegerists is, all right, we'll figure something out. We'll let you know where he is. We can make this happen, but like you got to work with us here. Like you can't go killing people, and like we'll basically that we have to negotiate somehow. The problem with that, of course, is they may already know where he is. We know that Eren and the gang. Well, at least Eren doesn't, because he asks what's Zeke's
find
location.
out where Zeke is being kept.
So they don't really know, and so how this meeting is going to happen, we don't know. The other thing is that Zeke, is he now notified? Can they notify him? Because Zeke know that
Well,
I'll
he's
get into
just
my
reading
prediction in a
his
second.
book in the forest right now.
I don't
want
want to accidentally spoil anything.
Okay. So they say Kiyomi's there, Madam Kiyomi's there,
Oh, that's right. I
And
forgot about
Pyxis says, "Hey, sorry you had to see that.
I'm
We're
embarrassed. You had to see our family dispute.
Yeah,
basically.
doing some infighting here." And Kiyomi says, "Hey, listen, it happens in all countries.
Every country goes
She's
through
kinda
this.
wise right
it's
there, actually.
okay.
Yeah, every country has disputes, has issues, has wars." And she says, "Okay, I understand. I hope for the victory of Eldea." What Eldea? What does that mean? Whose side are you on? I don't trust you. Anyway, so then she says, Mikasa-chan, come here.
Lady, come
Mikasa,
up.
yeah.
Lady Mikasa.
Words. Yeah.
Listen, things get
Sama,
crazy.
She says Sama.
It's the same thing like Mikasa told Eren. Things get crazy, come find me.
Yeah.
She's like, when things get crazy, you come to my boat. We'll protect you. Like, it's more important that you live in all this craziness. And Mikasa's like, look, it's not my blood who makes me who I am, right? It's my experiences. It's where I was
She
raised.
says,
It's what I believed.
I'm an Eldian.
I'm an
him.
Eldian.
Mhm.
So I need to stay and make sure there's a future for the place where I grew up. And I love that, right? And so she says,
Yeah, but we came for you.
we came for you. You can't just leave, right? We came here for you. And she says, you came for the prophet, and hits her with like the friggin' the strength.
She drops the bomb on her. a
Drops
little
the
bit.
bomb, and she says, you don't care about who's in charge. All you care about is the rumbling, and if you'll be able to basically make a profit off
Yeah.
the resources, right?
And this is where Kiyomi actually kind of admits, like, so Hizuru, like the nation, will leave us, the Azumabitos, out to dry
Yeah.
if we don't
If
pull
this
off.
doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
So the country, there's infighting in their country
Right,
too.
that's why she understands. She's like, yeah, I know what it's like to have different factions.
And she says, look, I'm not proud of what we've had to become. We've had to make a lot of sacrifices. We had to become basically money grubbing like lowlifes,
Vixens. She
I
calls
know.
them.
vixens in
We
order
have this
to
reputation now.
survive. But here we want to fight for you. We want to protect you. And she actually shows like some principle. And I'm like, okay, I can get
Yeah.
behind that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Kiyomi.
the line about like we haven't lost pride in our clan.
Yeah, of what the clan that your mother passed down to you.
Mm-hmm. So there's still some principle in there, still something going on there. So I don't think her storyline, this arc, is close to over. I think we're gonna find out more. Gosh, the Ackerman thing and I don't know. There's still some lineage questions that need to get unearthed here in the
We
show.
still don't know what the Ackermans even are.
So this is where we get to. It cuts over to Connie and
The gang.
Jean, the gang, the crew, the remaining crew.
Remaining gang.
Rip
Without
Sasha.
and
We still miss
Marco.
you. And they're like, and Jean, I think, is the one who's like, so wait, we're helping Eren, even though he's the one who killed Premier Zachary. And Mikasa's like, you don't know that
We
he
don't
did
know
that.
that he killed him.
And so you watch the
Okay,
infighting
fair point.
happen. And I was actually calling this before, like,
Yeah.
2 episodes ago. I was like, oh, Mikasa's gonna have to like choose, like who's like she's gonna have to pick a side. And now we know it's not just her; it's probably gonna be a bunch of people. But now within the Scouts, within our core crew of people, because Eren's kind of become this weird thing. Even they are having to fight among themselves and like, whose side are you really on? And she's like,
Was it
explosion.
Marco who said, like, be quiet, Mikasa? They're going to think we're Jaegerists. Whose side are you on? Or was
Marco's
that
been dead
Jean?
for 2 years.
I
seasons.
meant Connie.
Thanks for bringing him up.
I meant
too
Connie,
soon.
but my
Tears.
mouth said Marco for some reason. I don't know why.
Marco.
Anyway, Connie. Was it Connie that said that or Jean?
I think it's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she said, what do you mean? Armin and I almost died in that explosion. And he's like, huh? Like he didn't know that they almost died in that explosion?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it just
I didn't notice
happened.
that.
No one probably knew where they were.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
In the chat, rip for Marco.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah. So they're like, wait a second, you almost got blown up? All right. Maybe you guys are right. All right. And
Well-
Hange comes out and it's like, look, it's not that simple. We have to stop infighting. We have to, for now, try to work together with Zeke and Eren.
She specifically highlights Pyxis here. She says Pyxis says that infighting will be our downfall.
True.
And that's
House
correct.
divided cannot stand.
And so again, Pyxis is the unity-minded guy here. He's the one who's not just unity between Jaegerist crew and the rest of them, but unity within their little faction within the not Jaegerists. I don't know what to call them yet exactly. I'm sure they have a name, but he's the one who's saying, listen, like, we just said house divided cannot stand, and this is it. This is everything. Hange says Zeke and Yelena, they took a lot of precautions for a situation just like this one.
Precautions.
We have to assume that they took other precautions as well. So I think we accidentally spoiled it, but it wasn't the prediction section, but I think we nailed it, or you nailed it with which one you said it?
Rachel had the first initial idea. We all put the pieces together.
Yeah, where they've been planning for this. They have people inside. They're going to follow you to the location of the important targets. And anyway, so
I thought you were talking about the
no,
Marleyans with the wine and all this stuff.
Oh yes, we can get Let's do our predictions. We're almost at the end. We'll do our prediction section. We'll get into all that. So, all right, ready? We know that they were ready for the situation. We prepared for other stuff. We need to find out Zeke's intentions before he turns us into a bunch of fools.
Yeah, can you imagine actually communicating with the people who have been on the island for probably several weeks at this point? Like, I don't know, Eren and Zeke, and maybe having like some kind of dialogue with them to find out what they want.
Nah, that sounds dumb. Let's not do that.
Let's just put them in prison and just kind of mess around for a month, you know?
Why you do me like this?
I would say that Zeke's already made them a fool and going to make him even more so of a fool.
Oh, for sure. No, there's no doubt in my mind Zeke comes out on this season ends with Zeke on top, almost for sure. His plan,
the break maybe ends with Zeke on top?
This half of the season ends with Zeke just
being carried.
Yeah, so, okay. So they get on their horses. They're going to go try to find out what's going on. As they're zooming by, we see some...
Well, Hange makes her comment about restaurants right before that.
Yeah, that's right. So they've put... Yelena made a point to put Marleyan workers in unusual places like restaurants. Good point.
And then we see the Browse.
Yeah, Browse family. They're hanging out. They're
Falco
like, what a big
and
building.
Gabby.
Yeah, Falco and Gabby. They're dressed up. They look nervous as all get out.
Both of them do. They're like visibly shaking.
Yeah. Then we get to they ride by the horses and Pieck's there
in the background,
looking like a weirdo in a hood with a newspaper. Like I am a bridge troll. Like.
They're already freaking there. So,
yeah.
All right. Prediction section. Let's go. We have to.
We're about to make our predictions.
We have some people who are want to not do too much of the predictions and potential spoilers. We are not manga readers, so we really don't know what's going to happen.
We're just spewing
manga readers.
Our wild theories that are...
So we're going to pitch our theories. If you don't want to listen to this part,
based on manga
that's totally chill, understandable. But don't forget, leave us a 5-star review and iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us there. It's a great show to listen to at work on Mondays if that's your thing. And then, yes, if you haven't already, come join us on Twitch. We are doing, obviously, Sunday nights at 5. We start the episode. We hang out a little bit pre-recording, and then we hang out a little bit after sometimes, talk a little bit more AOT. And then also...
But, Eric, what if that's not enough hangout time?
If you have not had enough Beyond the Basement... hang out with the crew time, there is now another option.
What?
Friday nights, we are having game night about 8 o'clock or so. Again, West Coast time. We are doing all the hanging out you can possibly handle. Let me tell you right now.
It is not organized, but it is fun, and we're down to do it.
Yeah. So we've been having so much fun with Twitch in particular and streaming and stuff, and we want to expand the content we're making, and obviously it's just fun to hang out with you guys in a little more like casual way to just talk about whatever have to be Attack on Titan. But if you want to join us for that, like I said, Friday nights at 8 o'clock West Coast time, that may vary a little bit, but we're planning to kind of do hangout game night. We played some what's it called? Uno.
We played Uno, we played Apples
Uno.
to Apples, and we played some League of Legends.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Apples to Apples. It was like
Wordner. It was
Wordner.
actually better, I feel like. At any rate, we're open, obviously, to requests and games, and Among Us, I think, is on the list for this next week.
Yeah. And so if you want to get like direct communique, we usually do that via Facebook right now, but we stream on Twitch. So if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/beyondthebasement, twitch.tv/beyondthebasement, and that's where you can get kind of the up-to-date information about what's going on if you want to get more awesome Attack on Titan Beyond the Basement podcast experience.
Yeah.
And
it's an AOT game.
If you are so thirsty, if you want to drink something delicious, but you need it to be that much better, there's these things called mugs. And you could get just a normal one, or you could get the sickest, dopest, most drippiest mug of all time.
It doesn't really drip. I mean, it holds its liquid.
She's not hip with the terms, you guys.
Sorry. I just can't let that. I can't let that one go. I just can't.
These shirts are also getting glazed.
Sorry.
These shirts are really comfortable.
Night, you know the joke already.
Yes. Please check out our Teespring to support us, support the show. And we love you guys. Appreciate all your support. Let's get to some predictions.
Okay, I don't have any special music to cue up.
Zeke
We're working on that.
It's gonna escape.
Okay. So predictions. Hang on, I have to.
That's my prediction.
Okay, I know we
I've
kind of already
been
said this.
predicting that forever, though.
Yes, the prediction you were saying about there's probably more Jaegerists, and I have to assume that we've just witnessed some of them. There's probably more Jaegerists who are in the room and are going to go find Historia and are going to go find Zeke. I don't think this works well. I think that this basically turns out to be a total disaster for anybody who's not on the Jaegerist side.
Okay, but think about this right now. We have no one else. That would be a great prediction.
That would be great. It's probably everyone else dies.
Yeah.
The twist ending is everybody, they don't do the rumbling. They come to an
Annie
agreement.
wakes up and everybody's dead.
Racism ends. Annie wakes up enlightened.
Marley comes with peace terms and out there to fight.
That's right.
It's great. I like it.
So, yeah, Armin and Annie make out, get married, and live happily ever after. That's what I'm praying for, okay? They all learn to understand each other and sympathize. You guys are the best. So right now we have several factions, okay? We've got the Paradisian Eldians, right? We've got the Jaegerists.
Yes.
And we know they're kind of at each other's throats, but they're also going to try to work together to figure out this rumbling. We got the Azumabitos who kind of want their thing. Other nations kind of want their thing. Most of the world hates Paradise and all the Eldians and wants to kill him. So you got Marley and the Paradise. And Marley and the Paradisian, or Marley and the rest of the world are invading right now.
They're planning to. Got
No,
2 more months.
they're there.
Well, I think
Marley's
it's just Marley.
there.
It's not the rest of the world.
Right, Marley's there, but that could mean
Their surprise
that
attack is underway.
There's the Cart Titan, the Jaw Titan, the Armor Titan that are all there. Is there anybody else I'm missing right now?
No, remember we did this at the
those
last
are the
episode.
only ones.
We were talking about how
They're
many
the only
Titans are
3
on
And
remaining.
Colt with a slingshot. He's there, right?
Colt with a slingshot.
And so they all could be there right now. And guess what? Reiner knows all about the interior.
Megath is there too?
No. Reiner knows all about the interior. He can get in, he can get out. He knows the ways of the people. He knows all the layout of the land. He is a perfect infiltrating operator. And so maybe it's just Pieck because she's really fast, or maybe it's all of the Titan shifters and they're all there.
I think they're all there.
And they knew where the headquarters were. Pieck was outside as the scouts are riding by.
Yeah.
So she's obviously on to something. She's doing spying of her own, getting some intel of her own. So
Well, this isn't her first time on Paradise. She's been around before.
that's true. But the next episode is called The Children of the Forest.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. We have to dive into that. All right. So bad prediction. Ugly prediction.
Okay, we think that Niccolo and most of the Jaegerists were working with Zeke. They've been instructed to give this special wine, or just a lot of wine, to the people in the interior, or sorry, the interior police, and to the people who are out in the woods guarding Zeke. The rest of the army is going to come. Now, is Zeke going to freak out and say, aha, turn all those people into pure Titans with his Titan shout, and then use Eren to control them? Or does Zeke turn everybody into Titans because of the attack of Marley?
That's a good
Titan
question.
shifters?
Yeah, to counterattack them because he has to start the fight. What an interesting place I would put them in. So, all right. On that note, I'm going to dive into that really just quick. So if that's the case, what better way to unite Paradise with the Jaegerists and essentially go through with what Pyxis was saying than, oh, look,
For
our
them
enemy
to be
just
under
showed back
attack.
up on our own shores. We're literally under attack, and Zeke saved the day.
Yeah, that could be a great optic. Are any of them working with Zeke? Is Reiner?
I don't know. I'm wondering that. I do not trust Galliard. His smile, like at the end when Reiner said we need to do a sneak attack now, makes me think that's exactly what Zeke wanted. For some reason, I can't shake that.
Yeah, Reiner's the wild card.
The other thing is the only problem with, in my mind anyway, if the wine that they were using is what is the catalyst for his shout to work, then unless he knew the surprise attack was coming, it would be a really convenient timing.
Right.
But he clearly was planning on turning them for some other reason.
Well,
if it is indeed a surprise.
They've been feeding the wine.
But maybe it's not a surprise.
So what if the wine has been laced with some Titan serum, but it's not enough to turn you?
But it's just a little bit.
It gets in your blood, almost like the Magneto thing where she puts a little like metal in your blood, and then he can feel that, sense that, and he can shout that out.
You. Yeah.
Or what if the wine just contains some specific root that nobody knows that can
activate it when
activate
he
it?
shouts.
A quick reference, in case people are not aware of this. Our theory is that Zeke can't just turn any LD into a Titan.
That's OP.
It's too OP. They need to be sedated in some way, and we think it's like either a drug kind of thing or a chemical or something, whatever. And so in 2 episodes ago now, at the end, we see the military, the MPs, and they're kind of getting drunk, and Niall is there, and they request more wine from a Marleyan servant who goes into a cellar, and he runs into Niccolo, who's looking all creepy. They play the crazy music. Niccolo hands him a very specific branded bottle of wine.
I think you're looking for this one.
Yeah. And at the end of that same episode, we find out, it cuts to the soldiers who are guarding Zeke in the forest of giant trees. All of the soldiers are partaking in that exact same bottle. Again, they very specifically show the bottle with the label. There's that. So in the preview for this next episode, they show that bottle again. It's a really quick cut, but they show that same exact bottle one more time, and it's at the restaurant, which makes me wonder how many more people has Niccolo intentionally been giving this wine to. My point is, and all that to say that the people who've had it, we know who've had it, are the people guarding Zeke.
And the military police leaders.
Yeah, military police leaders.
The people you would not want them to be turned into pure Titans.
And if he's able to just wipe all the leadership out on Paradis, like...
Hopefully not Pyxis. We do know he likes to drink.
Yeah, but remember, he's got his own flask, so maybe he's safe.
He might be safe.
But we don't know. So we know there's a condition. You can't just turn anybody into an LD and just by boom. All the people that we've seen, so we're trying to go off like what the evidence shows so far, all the people we've seen be turned into Titans looked sedated, looked drugged, looked drunk, or looked mentally handicapped. And we hope that's not the case.
So horrible.
That would make me hate Zeke so much more. We hope it's just they got sedated, and when you're kind of like asleep or you're not in your right state of mind, you kind of have this subconscious thing that the founding Titan can speak to and call out this pure Titan. So we think there's a condition that has to be met, and once the condition gets met, then Zeke can call you out. Do you have to be actively drunk, or can you just have a little bit of alcohol in your system?
I think one sip of this thing, I think it stays with you. I think you guys were onto it earlier, where it's almost like a little bit of spinal fluid. It's a little something that just stays with you for probably weeks at a time, and he can just
activate it.
Yeah. Levi's an Ackerman, so it doesn't even matter if he was drinking, but he wasn't drinking.
He wasn't drinking. So yeah, we have to mention that. So all right, spoiler alert from the trailer. So in the trailer, we see Levi in what looks like the forest of giant trees having to fight off a bunch of pure Titans. So that's kind of why
they're like completely surrounding him, and they're all kind of like going in, and he's like got his swords out, and he's covered in blood, so he's already clearly slayed a bunch of bad
and so
Titans.
How else could that happen unless those pure Titans are all the guards that were there that were drinking the wine, and he just shouted at them.
And then there's that screenshot of Zeke.
Yeah, and the super weird one, yes.
And Levi's in that screenshot too.
Yeah, Zeke is then carried
with a thunder spear
out of the woods. Or there's a viewer sent this in. Somebody on YouTube, I think. Was it an email or?
It's an email, yeah.
So they sent in a screenshot. So we've scrutinized this trailer, and all of us missed it. So mad props. I can't remember who sent it to us, but seriously, thank you. I want to give people shout outs and get better at that remembering names. But nonetheless, it was epic. It's a quick cut of Zeke being carried by a pure Titan through the woods. So I'm assuming this is escape route.
Like I said, if you look in the background, you can see Levi. He's shooting a thunder spear past him and going towards something. So it's almost like he's protecting him.
Yeah.
So he can get away.
It was Prezi sent us the screenshot.
Thank you for that.
Boss.
Seriously.
And so let's also look at this. Remember, Zeke does a Titan shout when he's on the airplane, right?
Yeah.
The airship. He also has a Titan shout in the end of season 3 when he's surrounded the walls, and all of a sudden a bunch of pure Titans just appear. And we were like, how could he just make them appear? Well, we think that they were brought in, sedated, and buried like alive, and then he just summoned them. But all of the Eldians on the wall didn't get turned. So either it has a range or there's a condition that has to be met. We think it's the condition, right? So it makes sense. I'm worried about Levi. Even though he's the boss, he's super awesome, I'm worried about what happens when he gets surrounded by a ton of pure Titans.
Yeah.
The Beast Titan
were his scouts.
Hypothetically,
just a second ago.
The Cart Titan, the Jaw Titan, and the Armor Titan, and an Eren with 3 Titan powers who's maybe not his friend anymore.
So in terms of like faction, especially, like where does that leave Levi's on team kill Zeke, basically, right? Like that's if they had to pick a team for him so far. Where does he end up after all this, if not dead?
He's definitely not. I feel like he's definitely not sympathetic to Eren.
No.
He doesn't like Zeke and trust him at all.
Mm.
He's still, I feel like he's on Team Hange. Kind of wherever Hange and Armin will go, I feel like he's kind of more leaning that way.
Sure. Yeah, I would see that.
I don't ever see him becoming a Jaegerist, though.
I don't think so. Yeah,
He definitely was trying to keep Yelena away from Eren. He's always been very protective of Eren.
Yeah, Levi's with Hange, though, I feel like, 100%.
Yeah, well, he was with Erwin, and Hange's the closest thing we've got, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Okay, I have one last prediction here. I think there's at least a chance, a theory. There's at least a chance. Armin has already touched the crystal, has already had some Titan memories. Remember, Eren asked him specifically, like, hey, did you get anything from Bertolt's, like, memories or whatever, from Titan memories? He's like, oh, nothing important.
Yeah.
Armin's not the type to hide information unless there's a real specific reason for it. He has guile himself. Remember, he lied to in front of Annie when she was a Titan and so on. But, like, I really think that Armin does know something we don't know yet. If not from his Titan memories, perhaps even from Annie. Maybe he has already touched the crystal. Maybe he's already communicated with her. Like, I don't know. So that being said, I think that it's at least possible Mikasa and Armin go on some weird, crazy mission to go retrieve Annie's dad in Marley. Like,
that would be so dope.
And the chaos, like, they have to find a way, like, they get permission, or maybe they didn't get permission. Maybe there's like,
they just go.
We need to figure out, like, he goes, I have a memory. The memory tells me this, and I know we need to get Annie. And this is
okay, so what if Eren and Zeke unite? They kind of fight off the attacking Titan shifters. They do the rumbling, and they say, no, we have to go trample the world. They leave Paradise Island. Then Armin, Mikasa, and whoever's left, because the Jaegerists all went with him, whoever's left say, oh crap, how are we going to stop him? And Armin says there's only one way, we need more help. And the only way to get that help is to go back to Marley, get Annie's dad, bring him back, awaken Annie, tell Annie, hey, we need your help. We need to fight against Eren. They're going to take over the world or whatever.
Yeah.
And she joins it.
Now, it's also possible, because we still stand by this theory, I think, that Annie's father or whomever her parents were
not her parents.
Her parents. She was adopted, and that there is yet more secrets.
Like, she might be the true Warhammer Titan heir or something.
Who knows? I just think there could be more secrets to kind of.
Okay, so who's going after Historia? That's a good point.
Who's going to go try and get her right now?
Yeah.
Probably Eren.
Historia's in on it. Historia's a Jaegerist.
Well, if she agreed to be,
yeah, she's got Eren's kid.
If she's pregnant, maybe he convinced her. Listen, Queen, this is the only way we can save our country.
Yeah.
She has proven to be willing to do whatever it takes for her people.
The dude, the father, who they have not explicitly said as a husband, he's actually in on it as well.
He's a Jaegerist too.
It's possible.
Wow.
Dude.
Everybody is a suspect.
Dang, join the Jaegerist gang.
Okay, we got any other theories? Or we?
There's going to be a battle in the forest of giant trees.
Oh,
this next episode is, in my opinion, is only going to be spice, and I am so excited for it. I need it.
I also said downstairs that the second fight that you see in the trailer between Eren and Reiner happens in Paradis somewhere.
I think it's likely.
Where the buildings are on fire.
Okay.
And Falco and Gabby are running through the streets. That's happening on the island.
So Reiner has been fighting Eren his whole life, but for the beginning he was on the wrong side, and now he's going to be on the right side, and they flip sides, and Reiner's now going to be the hero and actually try to save the world.
That'd be crazy.
I knew I liked you, Reiner.
He has been wanting to save the world this whole time.
He has been.
It's true. Now's his chance to prove his merits.
That would make me happy. I'd be really sad about Eren.
Yeah.
But that'd make me really happy. But at least
the right thing's happening.
Okay, but do you think Eren acquires all the powers
No.
and then kills himself?
I think in this next one fight,
I don't think he's going to get all of them, but I do think that Annie's going to be the key to stopping the Titan powers from spreading to other people.
Interesting.
Because of that final scene in the credits where you see the attack Titan and it looks like he's trying to escape, but he's a crystal, and you see the other Titans laying down.
You think that's the way it ends? You don't think Eren does that to himself to save everybody?
I don't think so. I think they have to trap him.
Yeah, we hope he's going to be
because they're all
Anakin
laying down
Skywalker.
And he's the only one fighting to try to escape it. And so I don't think Eren's going to willingly.
Yeah. What's the 2,000 years part, though?
I don't know.
2,000 years.
Maybe that's how long he's stuck in the crystal.
The crystal lasts for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
How will they figure that out? Who the heck knows?
Yeah.
But
all right. We love you guys. Listen, come join us for real on the live stream, twitch.com/beyondthebasement. If you have not yet, it'd be fun. Even if you just drop by. yeah, you know all the rest of the stuff. We got the merch. Check us out on YouTube. We're doing reaction videos. They're on YouTube if you're interested in that. They're over on there. All right. Send us your theories. Send us your best wishes. We send you ours, and a true salute to you, Beyond the Basement crew. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks again for watching and listening to our show, Beyond the Basement Podcast. If y'all are enjoying it, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever else you listen to our show. Check out the description below for links to our awesome Attack on Titan merchandise. And join us live on Sunday nights on Facebook for all of Season 4. And some of our best content is on YouTube, including me, so go ahead and check that out. And lastly, if you guys have any questions or just want to chat with us, please email us at beyondthebasementpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys in the next video.